bunker! And happy April 1st, everybody! Yes, that time of year where there's jokes abound. Prepare to watch YouTube and other people's flood with plenty of jokes. Especially since we're all stuck at home with way too much creativity on our hands. Alright. But, for me, it's kind of ironic, actually. I consider April Fools I consider April Fools to be my holiday. Because every other day I'm cracking jokes nonstop. So I consider April Fools to be a holiday. So, here's what I'm going to do. For my April 1st April Fool's joke, I'm going to be wearing this costume for a while. And also, I'm going to release this footage completely raw. No editing to it whatsoever. Just completely raw. Completely raw. No matter what I say, no matter what I do, it's going to be released raw. It will never be thrown from my channel, because there is no doubt that I'm going to swear at some point. But I'm going to release this footage completely raw for this joke. For this year's joke, that's what I'm going to do. And that's it. But like I said. But stick around, because it's not just going to be jokes, yucks, and marries. Which will be, of course, the... Oh, right. See, I do this every time. This is going to be sad. Welcome back to Thursday's Thoughts on Tuesdays! Yes, we're also here for Thursday's Thoughts on Tuesdays. Even though, yes, I know, it's not actually Thursday. If I had waited till the 2nd of April would be Thursday. But let me tell you something. I am already well aware that these things never actually take place on a Tuesday or a Thursday. Well aware of it and don't care. So, let's see. But stick around because I got actual announcements today. Starting off with this little guy. See this? This is Cradley. This is my special Mr. C. Mr. Crade. Yeah, Mr. Crade. I'm going with Mr. Crade. I am so glad to this idea of releasing this footage raw. Oh, boy. Anyway, this is Mr. Crade. You'll be my co-partner for my channel from now on. Isn't it right, Mr. Crade? Exactly. So yes, I now have a Cradley to call my own. Let's see. What else? Oh, yes. We're actually getting pretty close to the end of Star Control, honestly. I think the next episode that I have will be pretty much just being ready to go for the final episode, which is going to be a bunch of deaths. Because I'm going to tell you something right now. I have never beaten this game. Not once. Not once in my entire life have I ever beaten this game. I've come close. But I've gotten to the point where I've gotten all this stuff, but that's as far as I went. I always thought that was the end of the game, but I never knew there was an ending. Or, of course, and that was only if I was playing with cheats, because I'm very bad at time management, obviously. But another thing is that I also have, so because of that, I have to think of a new way, something new to play for the channel. Now, I had debated what I was going to do, because I had no idea. I was thinking maybe I could play you some Animal Crossing, now that I've gotten the new game, and it's amazing. Okay. That'll be a discussion for another time, because I have played pretty much every single Animal Crossing game known to existence, except maybe Amiibo Fair, but that's it. Other than that, I have played every single game, period. But that's a discussion for another time. But then I got something in the mail. this bad boy right here. What is this? Well, it's a splitter. It's an HDMI splitter. Well, so what does that change? Well, this will allow me to record my PlayStations. Yes, you've heard me right. I can now record my PlayStation. I checked. I know I've said things and it hasn't come across, but I am sure this time. I checked to make sure I could, and I can. So, for those of you who were wanting it so badly, even though I'm probably going to regret this decision, probably later down the line, I'm going to play some Internal Santania because I now have this bad boy, I can actually record. And so now, we're going to play some Internal Santania for the channel as soon as I finish one of the... Unless I somehow manage to finish Subnautica before I finish Star Control 2, which I doubt. But if not, then I'm gonna play some Internal Santania. I'm pretty sure there's an ending. I should really look at to make sure there's an ending to the game, because if there's not, then I can't really play it. But that's that. Now, for the Thursdays Thoughts on Tuesdays, I was gonna talk about jokes. Now you see, I've grown up in a family that entirely consists of people telling each other jokes, puns, being sarcastic, etc., 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 for the entirety of the year. And basically, it was basically my family. You either sink or swim. You either sink or swim, and I swam, and I chose to swim. So now, and I am the jokester that it is today. And that's essentially all it boils down to. Is at the end of the day, when you end up winning spacing out. When you end up being so good at jokes that people confuse it for actual conversations, it gets kind of ridiculous to worry about at times. So I've come to give you some of my advice when it comes to telling jokes. The first one is know your audience. Alright? Look, I grew up with people. I grew up with like a tradition near the beginning of the year where I would watch a bunch of stand-up comedians or winding down to the end of the year just to experience all the jokes that have been made during the year's process. Now, first up is, like I said, first up is know your audience. Basically, if you know what types of jokes they like, then you know which ones you're gonna tell. And if you know, it's better to know your audience than to not know your audience. Number 2 would be make sure you let the punchline punch. If that makes sense. Basically, if you're gonna tell a joke, make sure to put like a brief pause in between the telling of the joke and the punchline. That way it's more effective because it lets it sink in. It lets the question sink in so that the answer fits together like a jigsaw immediately. My third advice to you, all you pranksters out there, is don't be too harmful about it. You see stand-up comedians talking about jokes all the time, and you tell about people being offended at your jokes. And at the end of the day, that's correct. People can get offended at your jokes. But at the meanwhile, generally jokes are not meant to be taken seriously. Because they're jokes. But just remember, try not to go too far. It's basically ties into know your audience, because if people if the people you're telling jokes to like dark jokes, then they won't mind a couple dark jokes. The most of all is if they go, I don't like that joke, can you not tell that again? Then just don't tell that joke again. At least to them anyway. If a joke doesn't work, don't use it. If you try a joke and it doesn't work out, it might not be the right audience also, first of all, so try it on different people. But if it's a consensus, if it's a consensual, what? Nope. If it's a consensus agreement that your joke isn't funny, then the joke isn't funny. And you should pretty much drop it. Number 5 is the rule of 3. This is a basic. The first time you tell a joke, it gets funny. The second time, it's less funny. The third time, it's even more funny than the first one. It's the rule of 3. As long as you mix up the joke, but make it relatively the same. That's a rule that even stand-up comedians go by. It's a lot of different rules. Anyway, I think that's it for me. And closing announcements, I'll be doing Eternal Santani for the channel. Happy April 1st. Try not to prank people too hard. And, yeah. That's pretty much it. Anyway, I'm gonna go back to playing Animal Crossing now because I'm way too addicted to this game. Bye-bye!